Now we welcome Louisville's fire chief. Since August of last year, he's led our fire department through some unimaginable events, one after another. Chief Brian O'Neill, thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to ask you about that rescue last night. We just watched that story by Ian. Can you tell us the latest on the construction worker? How's he doing today? And your thoughts now as you relive those moments of that incredible moment at 8:26 p.m. last night.
It really is incredible. All the credit goes to our firefighters, the men and women that were there working in that hole, trying to rescue that person, as well as the other agencies that helped us, EMS, even just the call takers and dispatchers initially, police, MSD that helped us with a vacuum truck. It was really an incredible, painstaking, as you well know, you had crews out there, they're watching for hours, and it's a slow, tedious process.
How's that man doing tonight?
As far as I know, he's doing okay. You know, obviously that's they want their privacy, but the last I heard is that he's still in the hospital and recovering well.
Wow, it was amazing to see, Chief. And can you take us a little bit through it? I mean, we saw yesterday around lunchtime that, you know, he was trapped and that you guys were, you know, trying to rescue him, but already had established communication with him. So I think a lot of people thought, oh, they can talk to him, he'll be out of there pretty soon. And then it wasn't until, you know, after 8, because you just had to be so careful to save his life. Talk about that process.
Yeah. So that's the thing with a collapse like this. You're talking about a trench, a confined space. He was on, if you think about like a floor, an industrial floor that's thick concrete with rebar going through it, that is what collapsed underneath him. He falls down into an area, but everything else that was on that floor, that becomes a slide and everything piles onto him. So he was completely submerged in dirt, rubble, gravel, slabs of concrete, about 8 inches over his head. So in fact, when
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say when rescuers showed up, it was just dirt, but they could hear him. So they found where to dig, got down to him, and then just slowly, painstakingly have to get him out.
I want to show you this. It's a freeze from a drone shot. It went right over at the time, right after the collapse. Deputy Mayor David James put it out on social media last night. It was an Ian Hardwitt's story. Let's show you this. Chief, I want to talk about this because that yellow helmet, that is, we are told, the man's head with the dirt still around it. Is that accurate? Can you tell us?
That's correct, yes.
Can you describe this scene?
So by this time, they've already cleared a lot of dirt and gravel to get this far along. They were able to hear his voice. They dig down, and they actually thought he was a little bit further to the side because of where his voice went. But they got to him. They got to his head. They were able to clear out around his face, speak with him. You know, he was a Spanish speaker, but we actually had 3.
How's he breathing at this moment where we're on this photo?
Very, very carefully.
Where's his mouth?
I think his mouth at this point is pointing towards, I guess, the left of the screen.
Wow.
And but yeah, he was able to.
Did the dirt just stop right at his mouth, or
no? The dirt was over his head.
Over his head.
But it's also rocks. It's also chunks of different debris. So he was just fortunate that he had enough space to breathe. The other thing, when you think about a trench collapse like that, normally there's so much weight pushing in, but there was enough debris around. He was just very fortunate that it wasn't crushing his chest and his lungs at the time. He was able to breathe. He spoke to us the entire time. We were able to communicate with him, talk to him. Eventually, his cell phone, which also didn't break, got out of his pocket. He was able to call his family.
Incredible.
While we were still digging him out. Wow. The thing about, if you imagine, he's at like the base of a funnel. Everything else is still trying to fall down on him, so we have to very slowly clear everything away. And it's almost like a Jenga. If you move one piece, you might cause something to harm over here. You can cause a secondary collapse. That's always a threat, so not only to the victim, but to our rescuers as well.
So the way the debris fell created an air pocket long enough for you all to get to him and start digging out more?
Correct.
Wow, that's incredible. Let's talk about the explosion that happened on Tuesday. You're expecting to get investigation information back this weekend, by tomorrow maybe?
So right after it happened, the ATF offered their help. Obviously Metro Arson, our arson, Louisville Fire is the lead on this investigation. It's our scene. They are working with us. We have state boiler inspectors. We have environmental people, everybody contributing to get this investigation done. They hope to wrap up the investigation as far as the collection of information by tomorrow night, maybe Sunday. However, it's still going to be a while as they crunch all the numbers and crunch all that information.
I do want to ask you, just from decades of covering these, I know sometimes as you get closer to the finality, you all have a preliminary cause. Do you have one in your mind that you can tell us about? What are you hearing?
That's going to come through with this investigation, and as soon as we have something like that, we'll certainly share it.
So you don't know just yet?
Correct.
All right. Chief
Thank
Brian
you so
O'Neill,
much.
thank you so much. I appreciate
Yes.
it.
Thanks for what
you're
you're doing
feeling
in
the
the
love of the
community.
community.
Yes.
They're saying
Absolute.
that you're a true blessing. In fact, we're running a call on the rant line that came in at 3:30 this afternoon, praising
It's
the fire
men and
department.
women out there that are doing it, not me.
All right, we'll keep up the
Thank
good
you
work.
all.
You were
Yes.
tested again this week. All right, thank you, sir.